can see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So can I start, ma'am?
Yes,
Yes, you can start.
Good morning, students. So today we will start with our new lesson, lesson number 8, economy and occupation. So while before starting the lesson, there are some concepts which we will recall today. The concept which we are going to recall that you have studied in your previous standard, but before starting it, for recalling, we are again going to revise the concept. So this is a slide of a productive activity. Productive activities means what? Productive activities means the activities which are done to produce something, to manufacture something, are called productive activities. In this slide, the picture is given. In the first picture, 4 persons are given: Ram, Geeta, Ravi and Rahim. Everyone is busy in doing some or the other activity. These are the activities, is the work done by them. They are working it for earning money. They are working it for earning money. So while these productive activities are done by everyone do these activities for earn money. Ram is working in farm. What he is doing? He is working in farm. He is doing the activities related to the primary sector, in the primary occupation. Second, Geeta is working in office. Geeta is working in office means she is working in the office and giving his service. Third is Ravi. He is working on machine. Third is Ravi. He is working on machine means the person may be working in industries or some factory or somewhere. And the fourth is Rahim. He is selling the goods. He is selling the goods to the consumer. The consumer will pay for him for the goods. So these are all the activities which is done by different people, and all the activities are different from each other. So everyone does the activity from which they earn money. These are called productive activities. So we learn that productive activities suggest those activities which result in productive goods and services in order to earn money. So down the picture is there, it shows that productive activities is the production of goods. The production of goods and the services. After the production of goods, the work come of the services, because without it, the goods will not reach to every person. So production of goods and services, these together are known as productive activities. So it is clear now, productive activities suggest those activities which result in productive goods and services in order to earn money. And by that money, everyone is helpful to fulfill their demand. So these are called productive activities, means the activities which are done to produce something, goods or services. Now we will move to our next slide, meaning of economy. It's a very main concept related to our lesson. The name of our lesson is economy and occupation. So now we will study what is the meaning of economy. Economy is a combination of productive activities and services. Economy, together it is a combination, means it is the addition of productive activities and the services. Now, in the previous slide, we have learned what is productive activities. So all the activities means the work which is performed by every person for earning money, and the services which are provided by them to the goods to consume by the consumer. These all activities and services comes in economy. So we come to know that economy is a combination of productive activities and services. In this picture, it is given. productive activities plus services. It is called economy. It uses available resources as to produce goods and services. It uses available resources. As we all know, for producing something goods or manufacturing some goods, first we require is resources. And that resources we get from the primary occupation or primary sector. The resources we get from the primary occupation or the primary resources we get from the nature. It is related to nature. Every raw material we achieve given by our nature. So here the picture given resources, all the resources. Now you can hear me, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
So economy is a combination of productive activities and services. It is available resources to produce goods. And that resources are used to produce, and from that goods produced, we give the service. Now in this picture, it is given resources. From that resources, the goods are produced. The goods and services are supplied to big malls or the shop for the consumer to purchase. The consumer go to the shops and the malls to purchase the goods and they pay for it. It's a cycle which goes on continuous running. The resources, goods and services, and the purchase. Goods and services produced or purchased by people in order to satisfy their needs. Everyone has a need. The demands to complete, we have to purchase the goods, and these goods we get from economy. So in short, economy provides means to earn livelihood. Economy means money. Money is earned by to satisfy the demand, to earn livelihood, to live our life comfortably. We need clothes, we need a cycle or the transportation facility, we need house, we need money, we need books, we need everything. That everything we can earn, we get possible due to only of money. So in short, economy provides means to earn livelihood. Economy contributes to the state, country, and the world. Economy is not just related to every person's income or the money he earns, but it is a contribution to state, from state to country, and from country to the world. An economy of a country depends on economic activities carried out in the country. Means every economic activity carried out by any sector or any occupation, together they earn the money, and the earning money is contributed to state, to country, and to the world. So in this picture, it is shown during in past time, where important economic, political, and administrative units, agriculture and handicraft were the main occupation. Here in the picture, we can see handicraft and agriculture is the main occupation. Because in past, there was no development of different industries and machines. So people were engaged in the primary activities. So they carry out the handicraft and agriculture. After that, it started growing rapidly in the secondary occupation. Today, state, national, and worldwide economy have been evolved. But today, it is a new technology period. So state, national, and worldwide economy has been increasing day by day and evolved from village economy. All this new technology or new machinery, new industry, they are producing the goods. But these goods they produce with the help of natural resources they get from the nature, the resources they receive from the primary sector. Because of that only, this occupation, secondary or tertiary, or the secondary sector or the tertiary sector develop is only because of the primary occupation. Primary occupation belongs to nature. Every raw material is produced to our industries is available only because of primary occupation. So previously in the past days, what were done? The importance were only given to the handicraft and agriculture. After that, it starts developing. So big industries and factories were formed, and to provide raw material to these factories and industries, agriculture, the primary occupation, is the main. So today, state, national, and worldwide economy is increasing day by day, and it's only because of primary occupation. Understood? An economy of a country depends on economic activities. All the economic activities of every sector, every person carried out in a country is known as economy. Now we will see what is the definition of economy. What is the definition of economy? Till now we have learned what is economy. Economy is a combination of productive activities and the services. Now, economy is a relation between production, trade, and supply of money. Economy, it is a relation between the three concepts: production, trade, and supply of money. Production. Production means manufacturing or producing goods in the factory or industries. And by that, what develops? Trade develops. Trade is increasing. Production, trade increases, and for the trading purpose, the middleman also increases. And after that, what the middleman does? They get the goods or the material from the factories, and they provide it to the big malls or the shop, and the consumer go there to purchase.
हा समजा नाही आली
What the consumer
तर मग तुला फोन
the
कर
consumer wants the goods. So for getting that goods, they have to go to the shop or the mall. And this work is done by the distribution. The middleman is known as the distribution. The production, trade. Production gives increase to the trade. After trading, there is a supply of money. Means the consumer which consumes the goods, he has to pay for it. And the management. Management means every goods has to be managed properly. There should be not shortage also, not excess of goods also. It is managed properly in every part of the country, in every corner of the country, it should be managed properly. So economy is a relation between production, trade, and supply of money. And it is possible only because of resources which gets from the primary occupation. Thus, economy deals with the production, distribution, consumption, and management. Economy deals with what? Production. Remember this. After that, distribution, consumption, and management. These are the four concepts very much important in economy. So we have learned that economy deals with the production, distribution, consumption, management of resources in a specific geographical area. Now we know that there are three main types of occupation: primary occupation, secondary occupation, and tertiary occupation. These are the three main occupations carried out in a country. Primary occupation, those which involve activities extracting raw food from nature. Primary activities are the activities which are involved in nature. All the raw material or the resources we get is from the primary occupation. Without it, it is not possible. So all the raw material or the resources which every industry or the factory gets is from the primary occupation. So primary occupation is the first and the main important occupation. Here examples are given: fishing, food gathering, agricultural, animal husbandry. These are some of the examples of primary occupation. These are some of the examples of primary occupation. So we come to know that those which involve activities extracting raw food from nature is called primary occupation. Example: fishing, food gathering, and agriculture. Second, we will see of secondary occupation. Secondary occupation means those which involve processing or manufacturing of this raw material. After getting the raw material from the primary occupation, On that raw material, processing process is done. Processing is done to form different types of goods. Because of processing, it is not possible. So the processing or manufacturing process is done on the goods to produce different types of goods and material for the consumer comes in the primary occupation. Example, manufacturing of textile, manufacturing of paper. So these are the occupation which comes, manufacturing occupations which comes in secondary occupation. The process got from primary occupation. Processing is done on it and secondary occupation is done. So secondary occupation we come to know those which involve processing or manufacturing of this raw good are called secondary occupation. For example, manufacturing of textile, manufacturing of paper. Now we will see tertiary occupation. Means those activities providing service to people. In tertiary occupation, there are the services which are given by the specific person to other person. All the services. For example, teacher. I am a teacher. I am teaching to you. So I am teaching means I am giving a service of teaching to you all. So this is a type of service which comes in the tertiary occupation. For example, doctor. When a patient is ill, he goes to the doctor. The doctor gives treatment to the patient and the patient pay for it. So this is a service given by the doctor which comes in the tertiary occupation. Tertiary occupation deals with the services. Example is given bank. In bank we all go. We deposit money, we withdraw money, or some other process we can go to the bank. There are the people which are working in the bank, they help us. They give us service. So these occupations come in the tertiary occupation. So there are three main types of occupation: primary occupation, secondary occupation, tertiary occupation. Primary occupation, in these activities extracted from raw food, raw material. Secondary occupation is related to the processing or manufacturing of goods. And tertiary occupation is related to the services of the people. Now, in this lesson, there are some important terms which have came. So, we will see what are the important terms which are in the lesson. And then we will start our lesson. GNI. GNI means gross national income. GNI means gross national income. GNI is the total amount of money earned by a nation's people or business. GNI means all over the total amount of money, the total amount of income earned by the nation's people. Every person together, the nation's income is calculated. It is called GNI. Every business in the country or each and every person's income together, it is calculated. It is known as GNI. It is used to track a nation's wealth from year to year. It is calculated yearly. From year to year, it is calculated. So every country's GNI is known. So GNI means the total amount of money earned by a nation's people or business. It is used to track a nation's wealth from year to year. GDP. Next is GDP. GDP means what? Gross domestic product. GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in a country. GDP is the total amount of goods and services produced in a country. Means all the total amount of goods or the services produced in the whole country together by any sector, by any factory, any industry, any occupation, all the together, the GDP total value of goods, every services which in total it is calculated, it is known as GDP, gross domestic product. It is measured over specific time frame such as quarter or a yearly. It is measured quarterly or yearly. It is measured quarterly or yearly, and from that we come to know that GDP of a country. Now next is per capita income. What is per capita income? It is a measure of the amount of money earned by the per person in the nation or geographical region. It is measure of the amount of money earned by per person. Here it is given of a per person, means each and every person. A single person's income is calculated here. It is measure of the amount of money earned by per person in nation. In every country, the income of a per person is calculated. Not overall every person including in the country, only per person. It is known as per capita income. So these are the three important terms which we are going to see in this lesson relating to our graph or the pie chart. So in short, we have recall this. GNI means the total amount of money earned by a nation's people or business. It is measured year to year. GDP means gross domestic product. It is the total value of goods and services produced in a country. It is measured over specific time. It is measured quarterly or yearly. Per capita income, it is the measure of the amount of money earned by per person in a nation is called a per capita income. So my next slide. Here we see a graph. A graph is given. It is a graph of gross national income from year 1960 to 2016. It is a graph of a national income, gross national income from the year 1960 to 2060 in million US dollars. Income is given in million US dollars. First we will see the graph. In this graph, three colors are indicated. Green color is for USA. Between red color is for India and blue color is for Brazil. Year is given down 1960, 1980, 2000, 2060. And the scale is also given. So it started from 0 to 1900. It starts from 0, 100, 200, 300, 400 and goes till 1900. The first question is asked on the graph, which country's national income was highest in 2016 and was it how much? In 2016 it is asked. So in 2016 national income highest. Which country has the national income highest? We can see here green color is the highest and green color indicates USA. Green color indicates USA means which country in 2016 highest income, national income? USA. It is nearly about 1,888. Second question. Comparing India and Brazil, which country has a national income in 1980? Now we have to see for 1980. 1980, they have told to compare between India and Brazil. Compare between India and Brazil. Which is higher? India is higher or Brazil is higher? So while comparing, we can come to know that Brazil is higher than India. When we see the graph, we come to know that Brazil is higher in India. So the answer is Brazil. In 1980, the national income was higher of country Brazil. Now the third question. Comparing India and Brazil, which country has a higher income in 2016? Now we have to see for 2016 in a textbook. You can see in 2016, we have to compare between India and Brazil. So Brazil blue color indicates less and the India which is indicated in the red color which is high. So India and Brazil, while comparing, we come to know that India is higher. So in 2016, the higher national income is of which country? India. Now next question, tell the difference between the GNP of Brazil and India in 2016. In 2016, we have to tell the GNP. We have to tell the GNP. GNP means gross national income. Total amount of money earned by nation people. Overall, all the people's money or the income is calculated. So in Brazil, we have to compare between India and Brazil. Brazil, it is nearly about 180 and India nearly about 220. So in US dollar, we have to find the difference, and the difference is nearly difference for finding difference, we have to minus. So 220 minus 180 is 40. So the difference is of 40 million. So while comparing Brazil and India, we can come to know, we can see that Brazil is lesser and India is higher. So in US dollar difference, the difference is of 40 million. So from this, we can come to know that India's gross national income is higher than Brazil. What conclusion we get? India's gross national income is higher than Brazil. Have you understood the graph? By studying this, we come to know the conclusion we get. USA is higher. It does not have any comparison with India also and Brazil also. It is a developed country. From this we know that it is a developed country. And India, and while comparing India and Brazil, we come to know the gross national income of India is higher of India than Brazil. Now next we will see, table is given. We know that there are two sectors, public sector and private sector. Public sector is run by the government and private sector is run by the owner or some individual person, personal or individual. So a table regarding the ownership of various sector in both the countries is given below. Below it is given. Fill the details regarding India and complete the table. Brazil, it is given already which sector it belongs, public or private. Sectors are given in between, and India's column in your textbook, it is incomplete. You have to complete, you have to write. So we will see that. Banking sector. In Brazil, it is both. Public bank also, private bank also. In India, also it is same. Public also and private also. Public banks are also there and private banks are also there. In railway, now while we see of railway sector, in Brazil, private and public both. Brazil has private railways also, public railways also. But in India, it is not same. India only has the public railways. There are no private railways. Public railways it has, and it is run by central government. Next is airways. Private and public both are in Brazil. Brazil has both the railways, private also, public also. And in India, it is also the same. India also has the private airways also and public airways also. Now the next sector is electricity production. In Brazil, it is largely public. Very minimum it is privately earned, but it is largely public in Brazil. And in India, it is both private also and public also. Electricity is a sector in India which comes in the private sector also and public sector. Next is iron and steel industry. In Brazil, it is largely public. Very little or very minimum of the industries which should be earned by the owner, privately. But it is mostly public. As compared to it, in India, it is both private iron and steel industries also there and public iron and steel industries also there. Means in India, it has both sector, private sector also and in public also. Now health. In Brazil, it is also both private and public. In India also, it is the same condition, private also and public also. Now education. Education in Brazil is mostly largely public and little private. Mostly in Brazil, the schools or the colleges or the education is under government, which is largely public, and very little of it is private. And in India also, it is private also and public also. But largely in Brazil, it is public. And in India, it is comes in both private and public. Now next is telecommunication. This sector in Brazil comes in private and public both. As well as in India, it is also comes in private and public both. So these are the different sectors, and we have seen in Brazil how it is belong public or private, and India also how it is belong public or private. So there are two sectors, public sector and private sector, and these sectors belongs to which countries we have seen, which sector we have seen. Now we will see a pie chart. It is a pie chart given. In your textbook in figure 8.2, you can see the circles are given. The circles are a pie chart. So the contribution of each sector in the respective countries, GDP, and the percentage of population engaged in various activities. Read the both pie chart carefully and answer the following question. Here they have asked us some question. We have to answer the question by observing the pie chart. The above circles shows the contribution of sector in GDP. GDP means I have told you, total value of goods and services produced in a country. All the country, overall the country, all the total goods and services which are produced, which are calculated together are known as GDP, gross domestic product. The up circle indicates the GDP contribution in the of sector in GDP in 2016. Which year it is given of? 2016. And down circle, the two circles give the percentage of population engaged in various sectors. Population percentage is given. And it has given the three colors: primary, secondary, tertiary. Primary, blue color, it indicates blue color. Orange color, it indicates secondary. And the gray color is tertiary sector. So this is a pie chart given of 2016 of contribution of sector in GDP and percentage of population engaged in occupation, different sector. First question we will see, which country has a higher percent of population engaged in primary activities? In primary activities, percentage we have to take. So down circle you can see which country has the higher percentage of population engaged in primary. Primary activities means blue color. Blue color, which circle indicates more in blue color? India. In India it is 48.8% and in Brazil it is just 10%. So what is the answer? India. Which country has the higher percentage population? India. Second question, in which country is the contribution of tertiary sector greater in GDP? Now they have asked us for GDP, so we'll see the above circle. In GDP, which country is the contribution of tertiary sector greater in GDP? Tertiary sector means gray color. Which circle has more gray color? Brazil. Which country? Brazil. Brazil is 67, India is 57. So more population engaged in Brazil in tertiary sector. Tertiary sector is greater in Brazil. Next question. In which country is the share of secondary activity more in GDP? In which country is the share of secondary activity? Secondary activity means orange color. GDP they have asked, we have to see the above circle. Which country is the share of secondary activity more in GDP? Where is the more? In Brazil it is 27.5 and in India is 26. Little bit they are nearby to each other, but more they have asked, so we have to answer 27.5 Brazil. Which country? Brazil country. Next question. We can say that Brazil is an agrarian economy in India, like India. They have asked us the question, can we say that Brazil is an agrarian economy like India? Give reason. Does Brazil is an agrarian country like India? No. The answer is no, because most of the population of Brazil is engaged in tertiary occupation. And in India, most of the population, more people, percentage of population is engaged in agriculture, means in primary sector. So India is the agrarian economy. Like India, Brazil is not the same. So we can answer no, because India has a higher percentage of population engaged in primary sector. In GDP also, India shows 17 and Brazil only 5.5%. Within, as per the GDP also, India is higher. And as per the percentage of population also, India is 48.8 and Brazil is 10. So India is higher. So India percentage of population is engaged more in primary sector than Brazil. Now we will move to the next slide. As we have seen the graph, from that graph we came to know that while comparing India and Brazil, we came to know that India's gross national income is higher than Brazil. India's gross national income is higher than Brazil. It is more than Brazil. Brazil is one of the most giant of mining, agriculture and manufacturing, and it has strong and rapidly growing private service sector. As Brazil has a rapidly growing service sector, means third sector, tertiary sector, but it also has very scope in mining, agriculture and manufacturing too. Next, on the other hand, India is still dependent on agriculture. Though services sector is also increasing in India. In India, most of the population or the percentage of population mostly engaged in agriculture. India is still dependent on agriculture. And the services sector is also increasing day by day. Not as per the agriculture sector, but it is still increasing day by day. Like the Indian economy, the Brazilian economy is also mixed economy. Indian economy is a mixed economy. We have learned that. So like that, Brazil economy is also mixed economy. Both the India and Brazilian economies are developing countries. India and Brazil both are developing countries. Both economies are developing. As compared to the USA, USA is developed countries, but as compared to that, these both the countries are developing. They are developing in many sectors, in modern technology, mechanical strength, and various. So India and Brazil, we have to keep it in mind that they both are developing countries. Their per capita income are very less as compared to the developed countries like US. Per capita income of Brazil and India is very less as compared to USA, because USA is a developed country. Per capita income means the income earned by per person in the country. In India and Brazil, it is very low, but in USA, it is very high. It is interesting to note that though India has a higher national income as compared to Brazil, the per capita of India is lower than Brazil. As we have seen in the graph 8.1, we have come to know that national income of India is higher than Brazil. But it is very interesting to hear this that the per capita income, national income is high, but the per capita income is the income of every person in India is lower than Brazil. Brazil per person income is higher than in India. So it is interesting to note that though India has a higher national income as compared to Brazil, the per capita income of India is lower than Brazil. So here is a question. Can you think of the reason why? Why this must be? Per capita income of India is lower than Brazil because India's population is more. India's population is more and more than Brazil and going on rapidly increasing. This is the reason why the per capita income of India is low. National income it is high and per capita income of India is low. This you have to remember the difference. National income, gross national income of India is higher than Brazil and per capita income of India is lower than Brazil. Now we will move to our next slide. It is a slide, here a graph, here a table is given, one chart is given of per capita income from 1960 to 2016 in US dollar. It is also again given in US dollar per capita income from 1960 to 2016. Name of the country is given Brazil, India and US. In Brazil, you can see 1960 240. In India, 90, USA 3250. In 1980, Brazil 2010, India 280 and USA 14,230. In 2000, Brazil, you can see 3,060, India 450, in USA 37,470. In 2016, Brazil per capita income is 8,840, India 1,680, and in USA 56,280. So this is the per capita income of a per person of a per country in Brazil, India, and USA. This shows that the United States is a developed country. In USA, every person income is higher. We can see in 1960 it is 3,250. Then it is increased in 1980, 14,250. Then in 2000, 37,470. In 2016, it is 56,280. So the population of this country is well educated. This country has the strength of many patents, modern technology, and mechanical strength. So it is a developed country, developed in every field, every sector, every section of section. Modern technologies have also developed, proper education, good quality of education. So USA is a developed country. That is why their per capita income is also high. This country is far ahead of Brazil and India in terms of national per capita income. From this chart also we come to know that this country is far away, means it is rapidly increasing in terms of per capita income than India and Brazil. India and Brazil are developing countries. As we have learned in the previous slide only, that India and Brazil, they are developing countries. These countries are developing in the field of technology, advancement, education, and industry. In every field, technology, advancement, education, and industry. These countries are trying to develop. These countries are developing. The national per capita income of country is very low. The national per capita income of India and Brazil is very low. And that too of India is very low than Brazil. So the national per capita income of these both countries as compared to USA is very low. India's per capita income seems to be even lower as India's size is very large. Per capita income of India is very low. Why? Because of the size of the population is very large and it is increasing day by day. So the per capita income is very
Good.
So here we have learned the chart of per capita income also of every country. Why USA is developed country and India and Brazil is developing country. The difference between the per capita income also we have seen, the contribution of sector in GDP, the percent of population in the sector we have also seen. Okay, Varsha ma'am. Varsha ma'am. Excuse me ma'am. Sienna ma'am.
Hello. Hello, Pragya. I finished.
Time up. So can I continue or skip now?
Time is up, na? So no need of continuation. Okay. Thank you, Pragna. Very nice lecture. Okay.
Thank you
Pradna
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you, Pradna ma'am.
Thank you ma'am.
Hello, Pushpa ma'am. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes. Hello.
Am
Good
I audible?
morning.
Good morning.
Your voice
Yes,
is
good
breaking.
morning. Again, it is baking.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh shit! Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, we have time still.
Okay. So whose screen is this?
This is. Hmm.
टीवी बंद करना पड़ा. अगं ते इथे वायफाय आहे ना, तिकडे वायफाय नाहीये. प्लीज आज हेल्प कर ना प्लीज. आजच्या दिवस प्लीज थोड्या वेळ पप्पा येईपर्यंत. हा.
आ रहा हूँ, समझा ना? तुझे देख लूंगा मैं और तुम तीनों को देख लूंगा. आ जाओ. मेरे कान की बज रहे हैं. कैसे से आवाज किया? कैसे? ओ.